Welcome back to standard 12. We are going to have biology class today. Today I would like to take the first chapter in biozoology. The topic is reproduction in organisms. First we have to know what is the meaning of reproduction. Reproduction means it is the multiplication of the young ones, the multiplication of the individuals of the same species. This is actually the meaning for reproduction. Now we'll take what is the meaning of reproduction with some examples. This is the hen, is a bird. It is laying the eggs. The eggs are hatched up into the young ones. All the young ones are chicken, and later on they grow into the hen or the cock. Now this is the multiplication of the individuals of the same species. The next one is elephant. It is the biggest animal. This animal is reproducing, and it is giving birth to one young one. This young one is also later on developing into adult elephant only. It will never develop into any other form of animals. Then we are coming to the next example. This is the cow. The cow is producing a calf. The calf may be male or female. Suppose if it is a female, it is later on growing and developing into the adult cow. That means all these organisms are multiplying their individuals, but they are producing their own kind. The same thing is happening for plants also. For example, one mango tree is there. It is producing a lot of fruits. Each fruit is having one seed. When the seed is sowed in the soil, the seed will germinate into a new small sapling. Later on, it is developing into a big mango tree only. It will never grow into coconut tree. It will never grow into the banyan tree. Mango seeds will develop into mango trees. Same thing for even microorganisms. If you take microorganisms, amoeba. One amoeba is a unicellular microorganism, and this organism is multiplying into many number of amoebae plural. Same with bacteria, microorganism. One bacterial cell is multiplying into many bacterial cells. Now this is actually the meaning for reproduction. Now in the animals and plants, particularly we are going to take zoology, so animals we are going to take. In animals, the reproductions are of different types. Many types of reproductions are there. The types of reproduction we can call as modes of reproduction. Now modes means various methods. Various methods of reproduction. So in animals, there are two major types of reproductions. First one is asexual reproduction. The second one is sexual reproduction. First we have to know what is the difference between the asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. Say in asexual reproduction, the organisms, whether it is a microorganism or huge animal, whatever the animal may be, they are not using the reproductive organs for reproduction. That is actually the meaning. That is asexual. That means sexual means using the reproductive organs. Asexual means not using the reproductive organs. If such method is useful for multiplying the young ones, then it is called the sexual reproduction. This is the meaning. In animals, there are so many methods of asexual reproduction. One is binary fission, second one is multiple fission, third one is strobilation, the fourth one is sporulation, fifth one is budding, sixth one is fragmentation, and the seventh one is regeneration. These are the 7 different types of asexual reproductions are seen in animals. Then we are coming to the sexual reproduction. Now in this type of multiplication of the young ones, the reproductive organs are used. What are the reproductive organs? We have to see. Say particularly in higher animals, there are 2 types of animals in the population in a particular species, male and the female. 2 opposite sexes will be there. Assume that one male animal is there. The male animal is having a pair of testes, but we are taking here testes singular. A pair of testes are present. Each testis is producing enormous number of sperms. Singular I am taking sperm. Similarly, if you take the female animal, matured animal, it is having a pair of ovaries as the reproductive organs. Now I am taking singular ovary. Now the ovaries are producing a number of ova, but we are taking singular ovum, ovum, ovum. Now during this sexual reproduction, a sperm is moving towards the ovum and fusing with the ovum. Now this fusion of the sperm and the ovum is called fertilization. As a result of it, one single large cell is produced. It is called a zygote. Now the zygote later on under suitable condition develops into one young one. Now that young one will be exactly same to the same species of the male and female. It may develop into male or it may develop into the female of the same kind or same species. This is actually called the sexual reproduction. Since the reproductive organs like testis and ovary are used, the reproduction is called the sexual reproduction. As a continuation, we are going to start with the asexual reproduction. Already I told you what is the meaning of asexual reproduction. In this asexual reproduction, the organisms are not using any reproductive organs. There are 7 types. Each type we are going to study separately with good example. So in the first one is binary fission. First one is binary fission. So what is the meaning of the binary fission? We have to know. Here fission means the division of the cell. Division means breaking into 2. That is division. Binary fission means division. Binary means into 2. That means one cell is there. The cell is divided into 2 cells. That is called a binary fission. It is a method of a reproduction in some of the unicellular organisms, unicellular animals. For example, we are taking this amoeba. Amoeba is not having any regular shape. It can change the shape then and there. In the lower classes, you might have studied. It is having irregular body, keep on changing the shape. It is having a nucleus, contractile vacuole, like that. All the things you might have studied. Now I will give the meaning of binary fission first. One cell amoeba, it is growing very bigger. It is the largest size, maximum size. Then it is divided into 2 small cells. It is broken into 2 small cells. Now the 2 small cells are called daughter amoebae. Now each daughter amoeba slowly grows into an adult, bigger one. This is actually the meaning of binary fission. Now we will come to the meaning of irregular simple binary fission in amoeba. Why it is called irregular? Because the amoeba body shape is irregular. It is not having fixed shape. It is called irregular. Now the cell is simply dividing into 2. That is called a simple binary fission. Now we will come to the explanation for this. This is the amoeba. It is a small one, maybe young one. Now it is consuming food. It is growing a little. Further it is growing. It is the maximum size. Now when it is reaching the maximum size, first the nucleus, which is spherical in shape, is slowly becoming elongated. Now once the nucleus is elongated, after some time at the center it is divided and then it is completely separated into 2 daughter nuclei. Once the nucleus is divided into 2 daughter nuclei, the cytoplasm is constricting approximately at the center and slowly the cell is divided into 2 cells. Once it is divided, they are separated and they are leading independent line. This is actually called the binary fission in amoeba. Since the body shape is irregular, it is called irregular simple binary fission in amoeba. The next we are going to see transverse binary fission in paramecium. Now paramecium is a unicellular animal. This is the paramecium. It is living in pond water, fresh water, pond water or lake water. The body is that is a chapel shape, the bottom of the chapel like that. It is a slipper shaped animal. It is having a number of hair-like structures over the body to swim in water. Now this paramecium is having two nuclei. One is very large bean shaped or kidney shaped. Another one is a small spherical shaped nucleus. The large nucleus is called the macronucleus. The small nucleus is called the micronucleus. Now this is the grown up paramecium. This paramecium, first what is happening is the nuclei, nucleus singular nuclei. The two nuclei will elongate and divide. First I will take the macronucleus. It is gradually elongating and then it is further elongating. A constriction is taking place and divided into two macronuclei, two daughter nuclei. Similarly, the micronucleus, it is elongating. Further, it is elongating. Then it is divided into two micronuclei. So, in the amoeba, single body, it is only one cell. Now, two macronuclei and two micronuclei will be divided. This is nuclear division. Once the nuclei are divided into two cells, then the cytoplasm will slowly constrict at the center approximately, and it is keep on constricting. Finally, it is divided into two pieces. Then each one will change the shape into one complete paramecium. This is also another one paramecium. Each one is having a macronucleus and one micronucleus. Here also macro and micronucleus. So that means it is a reproduction. One paramecium is divided into two paramecium. So this is multiplication. It is by simple division. So that binary fission. Binary fission in paramecium. Why it is called a transverse? The cytoplasmic division is taking place in the transverse direction of the animal. So we are calling it as transverse binary fission. It is the second type of binary fission. Now the next method we are going to see. Longitudinal binary fission in euglena. Now the euglena, it is also unicellular animal. It is also living in fresh water like ponds, lakes and all. Now this body is a spindle shape and is having a long whip-like structure. This long whip-like structure is called a flagellum. It is for locomotion, for swimming. Now this is one euglena. Now what is happening during this binary fission? Here also it is going to divide into two cells. That is called the binary fission. First, one flagellum what is present is divided longitudinally into two flagella. Now see this diagram, one euglena, but it is having two flagella. So flagellar division takes place. Simultaneously, the nucleus is elongating. This is the nucleus. It is slowly elongating, and this nucleus, once elongated, at the center constriction takes place. So one nucleus is divided into two daughter nuclei. Then after that, a splitting, the division is taking place in the center from the anterior end. Anterior means top end. And this constriction is growing deeper and deeper. And it is passing between the two daughter nuclei. And finally it is coming to the bottom. Now you can see that the division is coming finally. It is coming to that. But it won't stop here. It will completely divide. So one paramecium, one euglena is divided into two daughter euglena. This is the type of reproduction. Since the cytoplasm is dividing, the organism is dividing longitudinally from anterior to posterior, it is called longitudinal binary fission in euglena. Now this is one type. Now so far what are the things we have studied? Everything is binary fission. Now we are coming to the second type of asexual reproduction. It is multiple fission in Plasmodium. What is the meaning of multiple fission? Already we have studied the binary fission. Binary fission means division. Multiple means many. So if one cell is divided into many cells, then it is called the multiple fission. This multiple fission in Plasmodium, we are going to see. What is Plasmodium? It is a unicellular animal. It belongs to phylum Protozoa. This Plasmodium can enter into our body when the mosquitoes are biting. Once this Plasmodium enters into our body, then it is multiplying and causing malarial fever. So the Plasmodium is also called malarial parasite. How this Plasmodium is multiplying in our body, that we have to see. Now, actually the plasmodium is a spindle-shaped organism, unicellular organism. Now, more or less it will be like this. Once it is entering into our body, it is becoming spherical in shape. Then this is the nucleus. Then, once it becomes a spherical in shape in our body, the nucleus is divided into a number of nuclei. One nucleus into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, 8 into 16. Like that, it will keep on multiplying. Maybe up to 32 or up to 64, it will multiply. Once the nuclei are multiplied, then enormous number of daughter nuclei will be present. Each nucleus will be surrounded by some cytoplasm, and a new cell membrane will be formed around each nucleus with cytoplasm. So each one will become one small cell, but the shape will be spindle shape, elongated. Now that means one cell is now divided into enormous number of tiny small cells. Now once these are formed, the outer wall is breaking and all the small organisms are released. Now the young plasmodium are called neurozoids. They are released. It is multiplication. That means one plasmodium may be multiplied into 32 or 64 young ones. That is called multiple fission. Everything is by simple division of the cells. That is called multiple fission. This is the next method of reproduction. Now we are going to see the multiple fission in encysted amoeba. Even amoeba can reproduce by multiple fission. Now how it is possible? Already amoeba we have taken binary fission. Normally binary fission is taking place when the condition is favorable. Now imagine that the surrounding condition is unfavorable. At the time the amoeba is following this multiple fission in encysted form. The details you will see. What is this? Already we know what is the meaning of multiple fission. One cell divides into many daughter cells. There is multiple fission. Now we are going to see, this is the amoeba, but it is losing the complete shape and it becomes spherical in shape. This is the amoeba. Actual amoeba is here. But the condition, climatic condition is unfavorable. Maybe the surrounding water, maybe where there is water, a very high temperature, or it may be dried, the pond or lake may be dried, whatever it is. The condition is unfavorable. At the time, this amoeba is becoming spherical and the cytoplasm is producing one chemical substance which is oozing out, coming out and form a thick protective covering. See that this much of thickness it is having. A thick protective covering. This thick protective covering is called a cyst. So now the amoeba is surrounded by cyst. The whole condition is called encysted amoeba. The whole thing is called encysted. That means amoeba covered by cyst. Okay, now there is a cyst wall, CYST. Cyst wall is protecting the amoeba from any unfavorable condition. Even if it is 100 degrees C, the temperature will not affect this amoeba. So whatever the conditions may be, amoeba will be kept in safe condition. Now during this on return of favorable condition, the nucleus of this amoeba divides into many daughter nuclei. Here also 1 into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, into 16, like that up to 32 it will be multiplied. Then each daughter nucleus is surrounded by nucleus and cytoplasm, and enormous number of cells will be produced. The cells may be either spherical or it may be oval in shape. Now once enormous number of young amoebae are produced, then the cyst wall is slowly disintegrated. That is disappear. Either it will diminish or it will disintegrate, and all the cells will be released out. Each cell will be developing into one amoeba, young amoeba. So this is actually multiple fission. One amoeba multiplied into 32 or 64 young ones in the encysted condition. That is called multiple fission in encysted amoeba. Then we are coming to the next type of reproduction, strobilation in Aurelia. Now you have to know what is this Aurelia. It is a jellyfish. Actually this Aurelia is a jellyfish. It is a living in sea water. Now the shape of this animal may be umbrella shape. Now this is actually ventral wing, the umbrella shape. Now this animal is reproducing by different method, but one method is strobilation. What is the meaning of strobilation? This is the entire body with a lot of arms will be present. In any part of the body, maybe ventral side or dorsal side, one small bud-like projection will be formed. It is enlarged one. That is from the part, one small bud-like funnel-shaped structure with the tentacles will be produced. Now the whole structure which is produced as a small bud from the part of the body is called strobilus. It is called a strobilus, young strobilus. Now once it is produced, attached with this strobilus is growing little taller and taller. Once it is grown sufficiently, it is detached from the main animal's body, and slowly this strobilus, adult strobilus, is slowly becoming one Aurelian, that is jellyfish. So this is one method of reproduction. At a time, one Aurelian, that is jellyfish, may produce 6 or 7 small strobila. Okay, 6 or 7. So at a time what will happen? 6 or 7 young ones will be produced by this jellyfish. This is one method of reproduction by strobilation. The next reproduction we are going to study, sporulation in amoeba. Again, amoeba is reproducing by another one method. What is it called? Sporulation. What is the meaning of sporulation? Formation of spores. That is called sporulation. Now we will take one amoeba. It is irregular shape. Condition is favorable. It is having one nucleus. Now this nucleus is divided into a number of daughter nuclei. Now you can see a number of daughter nuclei are produced. Now the cytoplasm is there. The complete animal is a present, one full animal. Now once the nucleus is divided, each nucleus is surrounded by some cytoplasm and also the plasma membrane, cell membrane. So how many daughter nuclei are present? That many number of very tiny cells are produced. Each cell we can call as a spore. So one adult amoeba is having a number of spores inside. Now once the spores are well developed, the outer membrane is split open and releasing all the spores. The number of spores may be any number, but all the spores are released. Now this is one spore which is released, like that another one. Now from each spore, one amoeba will be developed. Now this is the spore. From this one amoeba is developed and it is changing the shape and it is becoming a tiny amoeba. So this is called a sporulation because spores are produced. It is more or less same like multiple fission. That is the next method of reproduction, sporulation in amoeba. The next we are going to study about the reproduction by budding. Now what is the meaning of budding? We have to see. Now the adult animal will be present. From the adult animal, one small side projection will be formed. It is called bud. Now later on the bud will develop into one young one. It is called the budding. Now we are going to see two examples for budding. One is budding in Leucosolidium. It is a sponge. Common name is a sponge. The sponge is living in sea water, particularly the seashore where the rocks are immersed in water. Now they are attached and they are growing. This is the adult sponge which may be about 3 to 4 centimeter height. We can see by naked eye. They are not microorganisms. Now how this sponge is reproducing by bud, we have to see. This is well grown sponge. It is about 3 to 4 centimeter long. Once it is mature, from the side of the body, one small outer projection is formed. This is called a bud. Formation of bud is called a bud formation. Now this bud is growing little longer. That is, it's growing bigger. Now again it is growing little more bigger as a side branch line. And at the tip, mouth will be formed. Then once the growth is sufficient, then it is slowly detached from the main parent body and it is a leading independent life. Now the mother will be there, the young one will also be living. Both are living separately, individuals are separated now. Now this is a type of reproduction by budding. Normally only one bud will be produced, sometimes it will be 2 buds. Now this is called budding in Leucosolidium, that is a sponges. Now the next one we are going to see budding in Hydra. Hydra is also a tiny animal. It is coming under phylum Coelenterata. Now this Hydra is living in pond water. Normally in pond water or lake water, it is living. Now it is having more or less cylindrical body and 7 or 6 tentacles will be there, finger-like projections, tentacles. This is one adult Hydra. Now this adult Hydra, once it is mature, it is reproducing by sexual method also, but budding we are going to see. From the side of the body, now this is the side anywhere, either it can be here or here or here, anywhere. One small outer projection is formed. It is called a bud. Now the bud is growing. Now the bud is slowly becoming elongated. Now it is slowly growing and becoming longer and longer. And at the tip, once again, a set of tentacles will be formed. 6 or 7 tentacles will be formed. Now once it is formed, it is giving appearance that one young Hydra is sticking with the mother Hydra. Now once this Hydra, young one is formed, then it is detached at the bottom, leaving the mother, and it is leading independent life. Now this is the mother and this is the young one. So the reproduction is over by budding. Now this is actually reproduction, that is budding in Hydra. Now these two are the best example for budding. One is in sponges, which is coming under phylum Coelenterata. Another one is the Hydra. It is coming under phylum Coelenterata. Now we are going to see this Hydra is also visible to our naked eye. It is about 3 cm to 3.5 cm long. So we can see by naked eye. Even the bud and the growth of the bud, everything we can see by naked eye. So that is budding. Next, we are going to see the next method is gemule in sponges. The previous sponge, budding we have studied. The same organism, sponges, can also reproduce by gemule. Now what is actually the gemule? It is also called the internal bud. Now what is this internal bud? How it is formed? Now the sponge is a flask shape, already we have studied, or vase shape. Now it is having cavity inside the body. Now inside the body, in the cavity, we can find. Now this is the small diagrammatic representation I am drawing. Now this is the sponge. It is attached to the bottom. Here one cavity is there. Inside the cavity, small spherical ball-like structures will be produced. Okay. Each spherical ball-like structure is called a gemule. Then once we are taking one gemule out, imagine that we are keeping it under a microscope. Now this is the structure, it is enlarged. Now the gemule is having many small cells inside. Now it is having outer protective covering, very thick protective covering. So the gemule, once it is well developed, each gemule is separated from the body of the adult animal, and each one is coming out of the adult. And it is floating in water, settling somewhere, and each gemule will develop into one complete sponge. This is actually multiplication by gemules in sponges. How many gemules are produced? That many number of young sponges will be produced. So, gemules in sponges. Next, we are going to study about apolysis in tapeworm. Now, what is the meaning of apolysis? Lysis means breaking. Apolysis in Taeniasolium. Actually, Taeniasolium is a zoological name of tapeworm. The tapeworm is a parasite living in our intestine. If you take the head of this tapeworm, it is like a pin head like, but the body is a ribbon like, flattened. It is a long ribbon like and kept folded in the intestine. The body is divided into a number of divisions. Each division is called a segment. The segments near the anterior end will be smaller, but the segment near the tail, near the posterior end, will be larger. These are called mature segments. Each segment is having that is all the organs, male reproductive system, female reproductive system, but we are going to see apolysis, which is asexual reproduction. Now what is the meaning of asexual reproduction? Each segment will be cut off or separated. Now this cutting or separation will be called lysis. Apo means end. At the end of the body, the segments are cut off, separated. and each separated segment will develop into one complete tapeworm. The tapeworm is an internal parasite, I said. It is living in our intestine. The length of the adult tapeworm may be 50 centimeter, 60 centimeter long. Now each one small segment can develop into a complete tapeworm. That means rapid multiplication can be possible in this. This is called apolysis in Taenia solium. Taenia solium means it is a tapeworm. Now we are going to see the next one, regeneration. Now in Hydra already reproducing by budding. Now the Hydra is also reproducing by regeneration. First we have to know what is the meaning of regeneration. Any one animal, if this is animal, imagine that if it is cut off into 3 pieces or 4 pieces, each piece will develop into one full animal. Suppose it is cut off into 4 pieces. Then after that, 4 small animals will be developed from one body. But the adult will not be there because it is cut off into pieces. No adult, but young ones will be there, 4. The same method is called seen in Hydra. Now this is one adult Hydra which is about 3 to 3.5 centimeter long. It is having cylindrical body. It is having about 6 or 7 tentacles, I told already. Imagine that, now black color is given because of for understanding. Now it is cut off into 3 pieces. This is anterior piece, this is the posterior piece, this is the middle piece. Now the anterior piece you will take, this is the anterior piece, only half of the animal or less than half of the animal. It is developing the last part. What is the last part? The middle and the bottom part. It is once again making them to grow. So it becomes a complete Hydra. You see this is a complete Hydra. Now I am taking the bottom piece. The bottom pieces are here. Now the bottom piece is not having anterior part. Now slowly it is producing the anterior part and now it is becoming a complete Hydra. Okay, so this is called regeneration. Now it becomes once again tentacles, everything will be developed and it is becoming a complete animal. Now you take the middle piece, no head, no tail part. Now the middle piece is there. Now what the middle piece is doing? It is developing the anterior part with tentacles. It is also developing the posterior part and fully it is developing into one complete Hydra later on. That means when one animal is broken into 3 pieces, 3 animals will be produced. Adult animals will be produced. This is actually called the regeneration. What is the meaning of regeneration? Development of one full animal from the broken part. That is called the regeneration. Now this Hydra is having high ability of reproduction, high ability of regeneration. Now in the picture it is given 3 pieces. Imagine that we are cutting this animal into 5 pieces. Each piece will develop into one complete animal. So 5 animals will be produced. 5 Hydra will be produced. So it is a type of multiplication. It is a type of reproduction. It is regeneration in Hydra. The next we are going to see the regeneration, the power of regeneration. Now this power of regeneration is reparative regeneration in starfish. Starfish we know very well, in the seashore, in the seas it is living. Now this is a star shape. 5 arms will be present. So that we are calling it as a star shape. Now it is very common everywhere. In all seashores we can find. Now in this, for example, this is one starfish, complete starfish. Now this starfish is having 5 arms. Imagine that by some reason, due to some reason, one part of the arm is broken and removed. Now it is not having the 5th arm proper. It is only part of the arm is present. But the starfish is having the ability to develop into a complete arm. Now only one part is removed and that part is regrown. Now this is called reparative regeneration. Now it is a regeneration, but it is not multiplication or reproduction, but it is repairing the body to become normal. That is reparative regeneration. Now once again it is having 5 long arms will be present. Now this is repairing the damaged part. Now this type of reparative regeneration is not seen in our body. For example, we have 5 fingers in our hand. Imagine that due to accident one person is losing one finger. But that finger will never grow back to the little finger or whatever the last finger. It will never grow. That means we don't have the power of reparative regeneration. But the starfish is having. It is having 5 arms. One arm is a cut off. It is having one arm which is not proper, but it is having the ability to grow into the normal arm which is lost, which is damaged. That is called reparative. It is not reproduction, but it is making the adult individual to become normal. Now these are all the various types of asexual reproductions we have seen in so many types of animals. In the next class we will study about the sexual reproduction in detail. Thank you. God bless you.